Hey there. Welcome back to Cut the BS, Build the Dream. This is a podcast where we ditch excuses, tell the truth, and build something that lasts. I'm your host, Brittney Kosev, broker owner of BK Real Estate, single mom, real estate investor, and a woman who is no stranger to sacrifice. Today, we are talking about something that makes most people uncomfortable: hard work. And I'm not talking about the Instagram kind or the cute aesthetic hustle with a coffee and a laptop and a cute post with it. I am talking about the kind of hard work that breaks you down, but it builds you up and it pushes you towards the life you say you want. And I might get a little emotional on this one. I am going to get deep and I'm going to tell you about my own life. And we're also going to look at it through some other lenses: Elon Musk and David Goggins. All right, you ready for this? Let's get into it. So let's start off with Elon. Before you know of him now, before you know this guy, right? Tesla, SpaceX, billions in the bank. What most people don't know is how it started. Let me tell you about that. When Elon built his first company, it was called Zip2. He didn't have a place to live. He actually slept in his office. He worked all night and he would shower at the YMCA down the street. Okay. Then came SpaceX. He invested his own money, millions, into this dream that really almost destroyed him and his whole business. The first 3 rocket launches he did failed. They failed publicly, they failed painfully, and very expensively. It was like building a giant toy just to watch it crash. His third failure, it almost broke him. Most people would have quit, but Elon, he scraped together what he had for one last launch. And that 4th rocket, it worked. It saved SpaceX and it earned him a contract with NASA. And he said, if something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. That's not hype, guys. That's obsession. That's what hard work looks like when it's tied to something bigger, to purpose. Let me bring this home, literally, because I know what that level of hustle feels like. Well, maybe not monetarily like Elon Musk yet, but the grind. Before BK Real Estate, before I had agents, before the growth, before we started doing some deals, I was a school librarian. And for 2 full years, I worked both jobs, real estate and education, at full capacity. I would leave school, pick up the kids, and head straight to a showing. There was literally no downtime. There was no balance. There was just my mission. My 2 kids came with me to every appointment because they were too little to stay at home. They were 7 and 9 at the time. And before every showing, I gave them that talk, moms, dads, the talk. Don't touch anything. Don't fight. Don't embarrass me in front of the clients. And of course, the death and pain warning if they disobeyed, which sometimes I had to implement. They would hand out flyers at open houses. They would pass out water bottles, help me run the room. They were great. And we made it work. But I remember one night specifically at the end of the school year, May, that's also the peak real estate season. I was sitting on the floor of our small townhome that we were renting, and I just cried. I bawled my eyes out, cried. I was exhausted, both mentally and physically. I was stretched so thin, but I didn't stop. I picked myself up. I went back to my computer and I finished running the comps for a client because even in the overwhelm, I knew I wasn't just working, I was building. I was building something bigger than me. I wanted to give my kids the life I didn't have, the life where they didn't have to make excuses about inviting their friends over to play because they were embarrassed of our tiny home. At that time, guys, I was teaching in a very nice school district here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And most of the kids had these huge homes with media rooms and pools. But what I was doing, it was bigger than my weariness. Batman said it best. He said, a weary body can be dealt with, but a weary spirit can't. So I dried up those tears and I got back to work. And right now in my current life, I'm in my own Elon Musk phase. I am putting every dollar I have into BK Real Estate because I believe in what we're building. I learned this from Alex Hormozy. If you don't follow his podcast, you should. Businesses are usually built for one of 3 reasons: either a pain, a past professional experience, or a passion. And I've got all three. I had pain from past brokerages. One felt culturally one-sided. Another wasn't allowing the growth I wanted. I have experience as an agent, as an investor. I know what kind of support agents really need. And I've got this passion. I love what we're doing at BK. I love helping people grow into business owners that they're meant to be. There are very few independent brokerages out there, and even fewer that are female-led at a scale. I'm trying to build one, and because of it, I'm in debt. I'm in debt right now to fuel this rocket, and it's hard. It's really hard. But I know that we're about to launch into orbit. And so I keep pushing, I keep grinding, I keep doing the hard work. Okay, now let's talk about David Goggins. You've probably heard of him, and if you haven't, you should definitely look him up. He is a former Navy SEAL, ultra marathon runner. That's hundreds of miles, guys. And it takes mental toughness to this whole new level. He teaches something called the 40% rule. Here's the basic idea. When your mind says, I'm done, I can't go on, that's the 40%. You are only at 40% and you still have 60% more in the tank. That blew my mind the first time I heard it, because I've had days when I thought I was maxed out emotionally, physically, mentally, parent-wise. But what if I still had more to give? Most people quit at 40%, but the ones who win, they keep going. The 40% rule applies to everything. Finishing a deal when you're mentally spent, pushing through a tough month financially or a tough season, uh, having that hard conversation, staying up late to get jobs done. You don't stop at the edge, guys. You break through it. And that's where the good stuff lives. And so I want to, of course, ask you the same question I ask every single time. And it's the reminder today. How do you cut the BS to get closer to your dream? Hard work isn't a punishment. It's the process. It's the thing that qualifies you for the dream you say you want. Don't wish it were easier. Decide to be stronger. I'm building. I don't have a guarantee on my success. Staying in the library in my safe job, it gave me an outcome that I knew would end in a decent little pension, right? And monthly security. But I also knew that I was capable of more. So I took a chance. I took a chance on me and I took a chance on a dream. This chance that I'm living right now, it has no guarantee, but it's fueled by passion. And it could give me more in the end than I could ever have had in the library. Choose chances, guys. Put in the hard work to make it happen. So I'll leave you with this. Where are you stopping at 40%? Where are you letting comfort steal your calling? Where are you saying, I've done enough, when you know you've got more? You choose another episode on Netflix instead of going to work and doing what you should be doing. And now, guys, how do you cut the BS to get closer to your dream? How do you cut the BS out of I'm tired? The BS out of this is hard. The BS out of I deserve a break, when you really know you need to show up. Because the BS, it's always going to be floating in. And your job is to cut it every single time. Cut the BS. Fuel your dream. Lean into that 60% when you don't think you have it. And then you're going to launch the rocket. So if this episode hit home, share it with someone who's in their own grind. Leave a review. Make sure you're subscribed. I would love for you to share this. I got real today. I told you my story, and I'm a little, I'm out of my comfort zone right now. I'm not used to having debt, but I shared it with you guys. I know I'm leaning into it, and I want you guys to as well. I'm Brittney Kosev. I'll see you next time on Cut the BS, Build the Dream.